That's fucking delicious. Oh my god. Welcome to the Eating Noises podcast. Fuck me. I haven't eaten meat or like carbs or sugar or much of anything in like the last maybe 6 weeks or something. I'm going to be really conscious. I got like shit in my teeth now. Fuck. Yeah, because I spent the last year and a half or more sitting, drawing pictures and eating whatever I want, whenever I want. Treating myself. Fucking noodles, burgers, whatever, treats, candy, Dr. Pepper, lots and lots of that. I'm quite partial to the old Dr. Pepper. There's a girl I worked with called Beth. She was so nice. She was too nice. That was her problem. She was too fucking nice. I can't remember how it came up, but I had mentioned that I liked Dr. Pepper. And then I had a birthday at some point, they happen. And she bought me a bottle of Dr. Pepper. Like just, a little bottle of Dr. Pepper. Which, you can look at as like, happy birthday, here's a can of Coke. But she didn't have to get me anything. I don't even know how she knew it was my birthday, because I didn't really tell people at work too often, because I don't care. But she found out it was my birthday, and she was like, oh, I know he likes Dr. Pepper, I'll get him fucking Dr. Pepper. How fucking nice is that? Anyway, burger time. Yeah. Oh, fuck, that's good. Oh, I got one for these fries as well. Treating myself today. Ewan's mukbang. If that's a thing. Is that even how you pronounce it? Is it like mukbang or some shit? But yeah, I've been, not letting myself go or whatever, but like, yeah, eating what I want when I want and not doing anything else. Sitting and drawing for a year and a half. My body gone to shit anyway, but it's gone even more to shit. And if you're a bigger person and you're comfortable with that, that's cool. But my body was becoming uncomfortable all the time. Literally just sitting, I could just feel my body uncomfortable. My clothes weren't fitting properly. I had one pair of trousers, one shirt, and a couple of t-shirts I could wear. So it was like I'd have to buy all new clothes. And I kept telling even from really early on, I kept telling myself, oh, it's fine, I can eat what I want and do what I want. Because this is my job now, I'm an artist, I can sit, do what I want, and I'll lose weight eventually. But never, ever, ever putting any effort into losing weight or anything. So that it got to a point where I can't remember if there was something happened, but I was just like, fuck, I'm done. I have to fucking make a change. And because that's the problem. If you want to there's going to be a lot of that. If you want to make a change in terms of like your body and stuff, you have to change like your lifestyle, your eating habits, what you do. So one day I stopped eating all the I ate so much sugar. I got awful teeth because of the amount of fucking sugar I eat. I got such a sweet tooth. I'd buy cheesecakes, entire cheesecakes, and eat them in like 2 or 3 days, as well as like I'd have a drawer next to my desk always full of just like cake bars and candy, always a bottle of Dr. Pepper or 2. I'd go through I got it down to a bottle, like a small bottle of Dr. Pepper every day or so. I'd have little glasses. But yeah, I was abusing myself in a way, you can say, or treat yourself, do what you want, but it's like, I'm getting on in years. Oh, fucking who cares? So I cut it all out. Like all of it. And now I'm going to binge. I don't have a napkin. Here's my paint bag. Well, hello everybody. This is episode 100. Woo! That was supposed to be like confetti. Oh, hooray. Hello. Welcome to the burger party. Woo! How are you all doing? Do you have burgers? Do you see the smoke from the party popper? Cool. Eating. I've got schmutz all over my glass. This was a good idea. Do you all have your burgers? We should do it like one of those kids' TV shows. Oh, I see Andy and Alex and Tarquin and Josephine and Cockface. Toby, you cock. Why are you here? You're not invited. Fuck off. And I see me. Wow. What burgers are you all eating? I've got a breaded chicken fillet. I bought all the parts and then assembled it. I've got breaded chicken fillet with some kind of spices in it already. On a nice brioche bun that I saw. I was going to get regular buns, but I got a nice brioche bun that I saw as I was going to buy regular buns. And I know some people like their buns, like their burger buns toasted. I'm not adverse to toasted burger buns, but I do prefer, I like soft squidgy bread around my burgers and such. So I go for that. I don't toast them or anything, just a nice soft brioche. And then a bit of barbecue sauce under the chicken fillet, and on top I've got a slice of cheese, and then some of my man Biggie Z, who experimented and made his own hot sauce, and I asked him to send me some, and he did, and it's fucking delicious. It's so fucking good. And I said on my Instagram story, I'm a puss with hot food. I really fucking suck with hot food. I'm so sensitive. I'm a sensitive young chap when it comes to hotness, which is funny because I am really fucking hot. But it's got a little tang to it. It's a bit hot, but it's not too hot. It's enjoyable because, you know, sometimes hot food is like too hot and you can't enjoy the taste of the food because of this fucking heat coming off of it, making me snot as it is now. I turn like this, but that probably means you can see me a lot clearer trying to pull the snot out my nose. So brioche bun, barbecue sauce. Love a good barbecue sauce. The darker the sauce, the better, I find. Nice hoisin sauce is really good. Fucking teriyaki sauce. I've made my own teriyaki sauce. It's really good shit. Dark sauces, like mayonnaise, I cannot. Ugh, fucking mayonnaise, garlic and herb sauces are like, but get these like weird kind of creamy, orangey burger sauces, which is like, ketchup, cool. I've got a bit of that for my fries. Barbecue sauce, amazing, and that hot sauce is pretty dark as well, so we're cool with that. Chicken, cheese, hot sauce, a slice of tomato on top, and then the brioche bun. Nice chicken burger. It's really fucking good. And like I say, I've been eating like fruits and vegetables, rice and beans, salads and things for the last month or so, month and a half, and it's been successful. I don't weigh myself. I don't have scales, so I've not been weighing myself. But like, I had to make another hole in my belt. That's when you know it's like you need to fucking sort yourself out. Again, I'm cool with people being bigger. I'm not saying you shouldn't be. If you have to make another hole in your belt or get a bigger belt, then that's you do what you do. But I was not comfortable in myself having to make another hole in my belt. But now I'm down to the next hole, the first actual hole of the belt, and my trousers are getting a little bit loose from that carrying on. So I took photos, before photos, and I'm going to take after photos as well. And I'll show for anyone who's interested in seeing how chubsy I got. Yeah, I'm a hairy guy, Viking body, so about to choke on a fry. So I've got a nice dad bod going on, but like I say, I was physically uncomfortable, and there's certain reasons, like the bigger I get, the more I look like a certain person I really would rather not look like. So it's in my best interest. And you know, with therapy I've done, and my own sort of work on myself, as I've said that I've been doing, I'm trying to build a better ewan. That drawing I did of ewan through the years, of getting older, and it got a bit happier, and then it just like got down and down and down as he got older, till he was just this puddle from a few years ago. But now, fucking picking myself up, trying to build a better ewan. Which, let's eat on camera. I hear on other podcasts all the time when, like, if they get sent snacks and they eat, and then they say, oh, we always get complaints when we eat on the show because everyone complains about the eating noises. But you know, I'm hardly my podcast is hardly fucking the Joe Rogan's. Joe Rogan's so boring, man. Like Joe Rogan's podcast, I've seen maybe 5 episodes purely because of he happened to be talking to someone I have an interest in. He spoke to Chuck Palahniuk, who wrote Fight Club and shitloads of other books. I've got a bunch of his. I've even read some of them, would you believe? So yeah, I was interested to, because I'd never seen an interview with him. I'd read a couple, but I've never seen him talk or anything, so I was interested to see that. But then most of Joe Rogan himself talking to Chuck Palahniuk was just like, all right. You've got to sort of get through the Joe Rogan parts to enjoy the rest of it. I'm drawing. I've got my burger on my sketchbook. I'm drawing Spider-Man villains. I've got a list. Can you spot them all? Oh! Someone commissioned me to draw as many. I think I said on a podcast, they originally said, draw me all the Spider-Man villains, or paint all of the Spider-Man villains, and I was like, there's like fucking, not millions, there's not millions at all, there's a lot, there's a fucking lot. So I said sort of 10 to 12, I made a list. Green Goblin is like the obvious one, Carnage, Venom, Doc Ock, Vulture, Hobgoblin, Electro, Mysterio, Sandman, a Scorpion, Rhino, Shocker and Lizard. Those are the ones I can come up with off the top of my head. I'm aware there's many others. I've spoken before, there's many absurd ones I fucking cannot stand. That made me stop reading the comics, because it was just like, what are you doing with these fucking villain of the week things? But yeah, the commission will be quite fun. I've decided, I said to the client as well, it would be best done bigger. So it's going to be the biggest commission I've done. Only A3, so not that big, but like it will still be the biggest one I've done. And I'll do it like one at a time with the villains and paint them gradually, so it'll build into this big piece. It would be quite cool. And I'm going to do the Green Goblin on his glider right in the centre, because I figure that's like, for one thing, it's a goblin, so I'm painting fucking goblins, obviously. But also, in a way, that's kind of Spider-Man's sort of arch nemesis, Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, that whole thing. I think that kind of works as being his sort of number one bad guy. So he'll be front and centre, full body, and then around him will be like torso and head, I guess, of a bunch of others. Maybe I might be able to get it to 9 or 10 total, including Green Goblin, if I can squeeze in any more just in the background. Maybe just little ones. That'd be quite cool, actually. If I have like big, fucking torso action poses of these villains, and then a couple of just like small ones here and there in front, just like full body, like I always say, paintings of small people. We love that shit. We fucking love that shit, you cunts. There's no need to be angry. It's the 100th episode. Woo! Yee-hoo! Got caught on my thing. Look how decorative. I have nowhere to hang this to make it look decorative. I could hang it on me. Oh, I could be decorative. I'm the decorations. Oh, wow. Wow. Burger. What burgers have you got? I know people occasionally will put in their story on Instagram like a picture of them drawing with my podcast in the background, which is really, really cool to see. Every time I see those, it really makes me come. No, it's a really good feeling to see that, to know that people are watching and enjoying this shit. So yeah, please do that with your burgers if you're joining in the burger party, and then I'll repost them in my stories. I want to make a collage just to show that some people cared and some people got involved with the burger party. If nothing else, I got to eat real food. Yeah. I always said, I have nothing against veganism. I've basically been vegan for the past few weeks. And I've made some vegan food that's really, really good. But, it just so happens to be vegan. It's not like I've specifically thought I need to make something vegan. It's just, this is a nice looking meal with no animal products in it. So I'm cool with vegans. And I've said before, I think people probably should be vegan based on how animals are treated and stuff. But meat is really tasty. This chicken is really, really fucking good. So, give a shit. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, oh Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Boom, boom, boom. What is that? That's lollipop, isn't it? Lollipop, lollipop, oh lollipop, lollipop. Boom, boom, boom. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Spider-Man villains, burgers, questions. I put a thing on Instagram saying send me questions and talking points for the fucking. Oh, snot coming out my nose. I'm wiping it away. Talking points for the podcast. What time are we at? Yeah, I can keep going. So yeah, I've got some questions and stuff. So rather than just me eating a burger and talking about eating burgers and my dietary habits currently, because this is a weird one, because it's like Ewan's drawing podcast, but you can't really see me draw. If I was remotely good at anything besides drawing, I'm fucking good at drawing sometimes. It was funny. I was trying to draw Dr. Octopus. And he looks fucking stupid. And then I tried to draw his head here at like 3/4 angle, but it looked fucking stupid. So I did an octopus over it and then used Tipex to white out the actual head. So you can see like lips and a nose there, but it just looked shit. So I drew another one. That's kind of okay. I'm not unhappy with that. I'm really happy with that hand. And then like Mysterio, obviously. Green Goblin. Nice glider, maybe a pumpkin bond there. Scorpion with his tail. Rhinoceros. And that's a little sort of thumbnail of how I want the whole thing to... That makes sense to me. I guess it's just a bit of a mess. Maybe you can see what's going on. I don't know. Electro. And I'm going for more or less the classic styles. I really... some of the newer Scorpion designs I've seen are pretty cool with the vaguely mechanical suit. And I've seen some designs for Rhino that are like that, but they get a little bit too mech looking. Which... it makes sense. Like, if you're going to make a real world Spider-Man universe, if there's someone in a giant rhino suit, it makes some sense to have it be like a robotic big fucking suit. But at the same time, it looks, I don't know, it just looks kind of dumb. Like most films with, you know, superhero costumes, they make them dark and textured, otherwise they look silly. But like I said before, like that, I heard in that Alex Ross interview how he put it that superhero costumes were never really meant to be costumes. They were meant to be like basically naked bodies of these heroic figures that show off all the ribs and veins and muscles and shit. So it's a really impressive, like, you know, a Greek statue of a perfect being or whatever. But there are all these different colours and designs because it's a comic book. And, you know, you can't have all these naked people in a comic book. It would never get past the comics code or whatever. And I really like that idea. And so I like the idea of having a guy in a giant rhino suit, kind of. And it's a shame that movies haven't really used that, because I think that'd be really fun to see in a film. Like the Hulk, but with a rhino head and grey. I think that'd be really cool. But they won't do it, will they? I don't know. The classic designs are always the better ones. The Mysterio in the Spider-Man film, was it Far From Home? It was quite cool. That was a fairly true to what Mysterio is. From what I remember, Jake Gyllenhaal is... There's been maybe 2 Jake Gyllenhaal films I've seen that are just shit. Did you see... Is it like Velvet Buzzsaw or something? It was just dire. It was on Netflix, and it's about like the art world, and then these guys' paintings that get found after he dies, and all the paintings are cursed because he was like abused or something, and then the energy from the paintings kills everyone involved with the paintings, hanging them and stuff. And it's just every minute of it just felt dumb and like Final Destination crossed with modern art, crossed with The Haunting of whatever. It was just shit. And Jake Gyllenhaal was in it, but it didn't feel like a Jake Gyllenhaal film. Like, Zodiac, fucking amazing. Prisoners is fucking good. Nightcrawler was great. Donnie Darko, obviously. What was he been in? The Day After Tomorrow, is he in that one? That was okay, I guess. I never saw Brokeback Mountain. I always meant to. But yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal's good, and he was good as Mysterio. We've got questions. I've got a list of questions. It always feels so like weird jumping into this. What are we at time wise? I don't want to make this all too long, but maybe I do want to make it all too long. Do you know what? Let's take a look at an art book. I don't mind admitting I'm actually pretty excited about this one. I mentioned this last week. I was looking at the work of Simon Davis in Slain, because I was just feeling it at the time. I liked his work. I've been seeing more of it recently. I saw some of this recently. And I said how I went to the store to buy it and couldn't find it. So I was going to order it, hopefully for this week. And I only realised it came out today as I'm filming this. So I wasn't able to order. Well, I could have ordered it, but didn't. We're filming this now, Thursday the 29th, I think. This came out. This is literally brand new, as brand new as it could possibly be, which is pretty fucking cool. Went to my local comic book store. They didn't fucking have it. They usually have a whole, like a big wall section of 2000 AD stuff, Judge Dredd, Slain, and all of it. Couldn't find that. I couldn't find it last week. And I asked them, have you had Thistlebone in? And they were like, oh no, sorry. And what the fuck? luckily, there's a bookshop a little ways away, a few minutes away. I went there, and they had this one single copy on the shelf, so I got it, obviously. And yeah, I'm very glad to have it. I don't, I look at a lot of old stuff, old 90s paintings, Judge Dredd and Lobo and all that kind of shit. So to have something brand new, it feels a bit odd, to be honest. It feels a bit weird. I've looked through this. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm not going to focus on it too much because I do want to make a separate video. I might actually read it. I know. So yeah, I don't want to go through it in depth now and then make a separate video. So if you're watching this and then you see the other video, it's like, well, what's the fucking point? So I'll just literally, like for now, just look through it and go, hey, look at the look, paintings, little paintings, little people, almost just shapes. Because it's okay. So this is Thistlebone. It's what do they call it? Folk horror? Is that the I don't know. Like Wicker Man, like Midsummer, Blair Witch, those kinds of things. It's a tale written like that, with those sorts of elements, like a cult out in the woods somewhere, sacrifices, animal fucking bones and things, animal masks, that kind of shit. So it's cool. Yeah, people dancing around in a circle like a bunch of lunatics banging on a drum, fucking maniacs and psychopaths. Big animal spirits in the woods, and a girl falling in the woods. And the thing, Thistlebone. Oh my God, those red eyes. But yeah, Simon Davis's artwork. I've said before, I'd probably say it every time I mention him. I think first, before he did comics, he was like a fine artist, like a portrait painter. He's like vice president of like a national portrait painters association or something. Like he's a portrait artist. That's what he does, and it's what he's good at. Like these are really fucking good portraits, but you see his like official fine art portraits, and Lord Jesus, howdy, is he good? I think he does work from photo reference. But this is really cool as well. So I think from what I understand of the little I've read, like this girl was involved with a cult when she was younger, and then she escaped as a kid, and then she's going back. What does it say? She got like something in the mail that she received this, so she's like, it's from the cult. I have to go and see if they're active again. We've got to blah, 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 or something like that. And so I gather this is her in the past, and it's actually really good. Like it looks like a younger version of her, which is really, really cool. It's really well done. It's a cool story in general. It's I mean, I say it's a cool story. It's a cool idea for a story. Like I say, I've looked through this and I think I gather the story as a whole. You can sort of tell it visually. It seems that there's a lot of elements taken from other places, like those sorts of films and stuff. Swearing kids. That's cool. I love his layouts, man. Like I say this every time I look at his work. One big painting, almost, with sort of other paintings placed on top as insert panels and stuff. And I love that he does this, that it's like a panel, but it's not a panel. It's really good, man. Really well done. Yeah, but it is its own story, its own world, which is cool, but it is very sort of heavily reminiscent of other stories of that kind. Like, it's not breaking new ground, but it is telling its own story with its own characters and its own sort of theology and stuff. I think it's pretty neat. And I'll probably repeat every single word that I'm saying now in the video I make about this. I love the colours he uses. Like, there's a white background and everything, but just by looking at that, you can kind of tell it's at night time. I mean, I gather it's at night time, I think. Also, this is set in like modern day, like 2019 England, up in a northern village or something. And the guy's really, really done well with like capturing just like English settings and stuff. Some B&B. It's really, really well done. I like it. It's good. I think it's good. A fox with one eye. What's going on? All that shit. I think she's following this guy to this house, and then she looks in the window and sees this, and she's like, oh my god, it's animal carcasses and fucking skulls and bodies, taxidermied shit. A squirrel. Oh. And then this. Thistle's bones. Thistle bone. It's the name of the... Oh, it's like the little bin and the fox rummaging through the bin and then it runs away. Oh, cute. That's cool. Looks like a movie poster or something now. That almost looks like a movie poster. That's a really cool cover. I really like that. Having a white cover... I mean, there's a lot of like comics and books out there with white covers, but there is something about a white cover. You don't want to see them all the time, but when you do see them, they do stand out. Because there is a tendency to have like, I don't know, a dark cover with lights or a bright coloured, like garish cover with all stuff going on, or even if it's just one character and a solid colour in the background or something. Obviously, the theory is, not theory, but whatever, the idea is... it stands out on a comic book shelf. You want them all to be different. But I think every now and again, if you have a white cover, and again, with a solid sort of black mass and then the red lettering, that really stands out. And, you know, black, white and red as a combination are quite shocking. Not shocking, but, you know, they stand out. So having a white cover is... I mean, this was on the shelf like this, so it didn't really do anything for it. But it's a... I don't know. I like it. Pregnant, naked woman with a rabbit. What's going on? What's going on with its eye? I almost want to read it just to figure out if this is a thing, if there's a reason for the one eye. I'm sure there is. Actually, I know there is. I mean, spoilers, if you were interested in reading this, maybe skip this bit, because I'm going to get to the end and you'll see the whole one eye thing. And then she's talking to this guy, who I guess is the guy who had all that shit in his house. And she's like, you're weird. And he's like, yeah, but, you know, get fucked. One eye, it's a theme. It's a theme. Even these bits where it's just two people talking in like a pub or whatever. I mean, this is a separate scene, I guess, but... it's all one painting, but it merges... all these different elements so well. I know, a bit more traditional panels and stuff, but god damn. Now here's my issue, and I did have an idea for, as I have for about 1,000 different things, an idea for a video explaining why sometimes comic art can be too realistic, where it's stuff like this, where it's really, you know, it's cool. It is dynamic, and there is obviously some characterization and stylization in it. But it looks like people have posed and you've drawn them. There's something about that looks like a posed photograph. Like, you look like scary, like you're attacking her, and you look like you're afraid of her, and then he's drawn it. And it's not bad. It looks good. It sets the scene. It's part of a bigger thing. So it's never a great idea to take one element and criticize this small element of a page of a bigger work. But it's a reoccurring thing every now and not all the time, but this face is a little bit like that as well. These sorts of scenes, maybe action scenes, when they're done this realistically, because you can only... comics don't always have to be dynamic and dramatic and over the top. But the risk is something like this almost feels static and staged, I feel personally. And that's one thing I've noticed is if you're drawing something realistic, like someone screaming, for instance, a realistic screaming mouth can only open so wide. And sometimes it can look a bit weak. Like this, you get what's going on. What I gather she's just stabbed out the eye of this person. I think this is going back to the past. She's reflecting on past, actions and things. So she took out. So again, the one eye, the missing eye thing. But like again, it feels a little bit posed. The mouth it feels almost stuck between screaming and not screaming. Almost, if that makes sense. That's a little bit more sort of dramatic. But it's like, because if I draw someone screaming, I draw their mouth as big as possible without it looking absurd, But if you're drawing something realistic, and I've seen it in quite a few different artists' work, not that I can always do better, but I can at least note a thing that I notice, is that it feels a little bit static. And I'm sure you can pull out numerous bits across all of the work I've ever done and go, yeah, this looks shit because of this looks shit because of that. And that's, you shouldn't, just because you can't necessarily achieve something all the time doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to point out things you notice that aren't necessarily wrong, but are just feelings you have about certain things, It's very Wicker Man. Not Blair Witch, that's the one. That sort of thing. She's reading the history, I guess, figuring stuff out. I like this old drawing of like a bunch of pagans in a circle dancing around. Cult leader arrested, news clipping. And then she's filling up a gas tank. Oh my god, what's going on? I think this is quite funny. From what I gather, she went back to the guy who had all the shit in his house. This guy. She went back to him after talking to him before to be like, shit's going down. We have. I've read a couple of bubbles. I need to ask you about something in this book. And then she walks in and sees him in front of this thing naked, with like, I don't know, blood or something on his hands. And she's like, okay, I'm out of here. And then she phones the police. I think that's a really funny scene. Quick, I need your help. Yeah, do you know what? Never mind. I'll take care of it. And then she finds some guy responsible for something, and his fire. That's cool. The lighting, that's really cool. There you go. You see his portrait aptitude in there. Well, this white space is good. It's very, very sort of powerful in these pages. That's a good action sequence. So from what I was saying before, that works. So, that discount everything I just said. And he gets pushed onto a spike, which is quite comical. A little bit of a, like, you almost see that too much in films and stuff, of like the bad guy falling onto a spike or something. Like a very conveniently placed sharp bit of wood or metal or whatever. And they go, oh no, I'm falling, no. Oh, it's through my chest now. Or like in Hot Fuzz, where the guy at the end, he gets through his lower jaw, the steeple of the model church. She's plucked out her own eye. What the fuck? She says, don't you see it? Wait, I saw... I think somewhere she says, like, oh, I know what has to be done, or something. Oh, maybe I missed that bit. I don't know. And then she plucks her own eye out with a knife, like a fucking maniac. I'm free from him now. I'm free from Thistlebone. The end. That's cool. Fucking weird cult shit going on. And then the gallery. Cover. A cover. That would be that would have been used on the actual 2000 AD magazine. 2000 AD Prog 2140. Well, that's really fucking good. That's a really good example of his painting. Thistles, bones, the eyes in the middle. That's fucking good. And this is really cool to see as well. The thumbnails, like almost not dumb, but like fairly simplistic and cartoony. And then I've said before, it's really cool seeing the inks for his work, because it's in most comics. I'm just repeating what I said last time, I think, but you know, in comics generally, you see the black and white inks and then you see the same inks but coloured. Whereas the inks are almost gone completely in the actual work because they're painted over almost totally. So it's really cool to see where he puts heavy ink and light ink and where he uses lines, where he doesn't use lines. And I think I saw an interview and I think these were what he'd send to the editor to be like, is this cool? And for the most part, I believe he was like, yeah, go, do it. Make it so. And obviously just the hint of dialogue that's going to be in there. It's very, very cool. Like that, you know, the animals are all in black watercolour or whatever, or dark watercolours. But he doesn't need to do that. Well, obviously it's to his benefit to not have any blackness in there if it's watercolours. So it's cool to see that they're just shapes. I mean, obviously they're just shapes. But yeah, so that was book 1. So it says here, book 2, Poison Roots, begins spring 2021. So that's been going for the last few weeks, I think, in the pages of the 2000 AD magazine. You can get hold of back issues, and I'm tempted to do that. But then I figure I'll probably get frustrated having to wait. Because if I get the couple of back issues and the current one, and then I've got to wait for the next couple. So I might just wait for it to come out all in one go. Or when they're all out, maybe I'll buy the magazines individually. Or buy the individual magazines as a whole. So I'll have the collected story in the magazines and then get the book. Or maybe I won't, I don't know. But yeah, brand new. I'm really happy with that. It's really, really cool. It's a very cool art book. I'll finish my burger before it gets cold. Oh. I'm going to finish my fries either, fuck. I made too much food. Why did I think this was a good idea? I mean, the idea is good, isn't it? Like, let's hang out, eat some burgers, chill, scribble. I'm hardly drawing. I'm just like doing shading bits and stuff. But fuck it. It's something different. Bit of a break from the norm. Bit of excitement in our lives. Oh. Oh. I can feel it going to my heart. Through my arteries and shit. I hope you're all enjoying your burgers, even if you're not enjoying me and my burger. I hope you're enjoying your burger. Could I be less genuine looking down as I'm saying that? Yeah, I hope you're really enjoying yourselves. Oh, yeah. Really hope you're loving your burger. I mean it, of course. I'm really grateful for everybody. I know I get really sort of like pissy and moany sometimes, like, oh, hardly anyone watches my videos, and oh. But there are penises that I'd really love to put in my mouth. There's some people, like regular viewers and regular commenters, who do get back to me and saying, I like this, I like that, I really enjoyed your episode. People saying, I love watching your videos, please keep making them. And that's like so, like, that's really good. It's really, really good to hear that. I don't say enough how I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. It's the 100th episode. I appreciate it. 100, man. Crazy. How many hours do you draw per day? Somebody asked. I haven't written down names. If this was better, I was going to say that earlier. If I was good at anything, and then I had some Dr. Pepper, and then I spoke about something else. If I was good, I'd have another camera showing what I'm drawing. Or rather, one camera. Yeah, 2 separate cameras and my phone separately. So I could look through my phone as I'm doing stuff. Because then I could look up the questions on my phone instead of having to write them down on paper. But I'm an old man, so I still use paper. How many hours do I draw per day? It depends. It really does depend. Some days, I want to draw all day, every day. That very rarely happens. Some days I might draw for a couple of hours and be like, that's usually like I might just not be feeling it, or I might have just finished a big thing, so I'm like, take some time off, some time to rest and recuperate. But sometimes I'll plan to draw, and I'll sit down and start drawing, and it's just, I'm working on this commission of a video game character. Sorry, I'm going to be burping a lot. Oh, that burger's in me. It's part of me now. I was wondering what that was. Fuck me. Yeah, and I said before, the worst part of stuff like that is just coming up with a fucking pose, because I don't want to just find an image online and copy that and then paint it, because then it's like, well, why doesn't the person just print the image out big? So I try to make it my own, but then trying to come up with a pose that I haven't done 100 times already is really difficult. So I might start doing that, do a few rough drawings of poses, and then just it's not working personally. Other people might look at it and go, no, that's good. But you all know personally, when you look at your artwork and you're not happy with it, even if other people say it's okay, it's not happening. And then I get frustrated and I just stop and maybe go do something else. But then if the opposite of that happens and it works and I get into it, I can draw all day, hours and hours. So it depends. There is no real answer of how many hours do I draw per day. It might be 1 or 2, it might be 6 to 8 or more. If I'm on a roll or whatever, and I'm in a period where I can manage to do like a comic book page a day, then that's do it rough, light box it in marker pen, and then start painting it. That might be the entire day of like 8, 10 or more hours of just drawing and painting. So it completely depends. And some days, I'm just too fucking sad and I can't bring myself to draw. So I'm glad for the days when I can, I guess. Similar to that, someone asked how much planning goes into each piece, and what do you do if you only have 3-hour bursts? That's, again, there's no real one answer to that. Because I know, do you remember the Patrick Bateman American Psycho painting I did? That was a commission. I was so worried about that because I knew I wanted to paint him with like his plastic coat on and an axe with blood on it and blood on his face, like the scene in the movie. I was so worried about like trying to paint that plastic jacket so it looks like because it's kind of see-through, but I want it to look like it's got the other thing underneath. But that's such a like, if you picture that in your head and figure out trying to paint that. But it's similar to how you paint glass. Like there's no real colour to glass. You don't paint like glass colour. You paint what's behind it, but distorted and maybe a bit lighter if there's light on it, and then like white rims and stuff. So I had to sort of factor that into how I was painting. But the pose, I did one rough of the pose and I was like, that might work. Did it bigger and I was like, oh, that works. And then painted it and everything just went right with that one. So that took almost no planning. It was just in my head, like, I'll try this, and it worked straight away first try, which is rare. But then like the Swamp Thing commission I did like loads of not loads, but a good few pages of thumbnail sketches of Swamp Thing because I'd never drawn him before. And then figuring out a pose again to draw him in took forever, and there was a few rough drawings. And then with some paintings, like the latest where I finished Zach Ridley, or that part of Zach Ridley that I recently did, check it out on my Patreon. It's really, really fucking good. The artwork's really cool. I finally got the last page done that had been needed to be done for a few months at least, if not way, way longer than that. That I planned the entire thing out in my head because there was so much there was like a building in the background with all this stuff happening around it, people coming out of windows and people enjoying themselves outside, people in the foreground. And it had so much going on that I had to plan out like how it's going to look, where I'm going to put everyone, rough drawing after rough drawing, and then painting it. I do this sometimes. I paint things in my head like completely from start to finish. Like I plan almost every brush stroke. Like, right, I'll use this colour here and then this colour there. I think I've said before, with comic book pages, I tend to have a system of I do all the skin in a comic book page and then all the clothes, and then I start doing bigger background details and then smaller background details, and then just anything else that sort of needs to be done that brings it all together. And that tends to work because that covers most bases in a relatively short space of time. So with that page, the last one I did, there were so many little bits. So I was like, right, I'll do all of the blue skin on people, then all of the turquoise skin because they're all aliens and shit, then all the green skin, then all the like human skin, and then I'll do clothes, and then the background buildings, and then the sky and the ground, and then that just leaves a bunch of details that I can fill in sort of as and when. And each one of those was planned as like, okay, this colour here, this colour, and I'd love to just jump into things like, yeah, just paint, cool. But when it's a comic book page, it has to be kind of specific. It doesn't have to be, but in general, they kind of need to be specific. So sometimes, from necessity, I guess maybe that's the answer. The planning involved is based on what the project is. If it's a commission of a character, depending on what it is, in general, it doesn't need too much planning. If it's like a comic book page with a lot going on in it, or something with 10 or more characters or villains on a page, it might take quite a lot of planning to get it done. So yeah, there's not really one answer to that. It just depends. And it's this part of the question, what do you do if you only have 3-hour bursts? Sometimes that's best, I think, because if I get all the skin and clothing done, I might be able to do that in 3 hours, and then I can leave it alone for a while, take a break, whatever, eat, masturbate, fucking whatevs. I've been exercising a lot regularly. I forgot to mention that. Daily walks, some exercises in the evening to keep my body going and actually burn off calories that I put into my body. So I might take a break and do that. Because if you've got it all planned out and all you need to do is sit and get it done, then sometimes it's best to just sit for 10 hours and get it done. Whereas if it's a bit more freeform and you're not restricted by deadlines or anything, then yeah, a few hours, get the skin and clothes done, take a break, come back to it, figure your shit out, do the next part. Which is, I guess, what I'll do with this Spider-Man villains commission. Is I'll do it. I'm going to do each character, and I'm going to try and film it all as well, because it'll be quite a cool, full video of painting all of these villains. We'll see how that goes. I do love Dr. Pepper, man. It's delicious. Do I play video games? Oh, I might start spitting food out. Yes, but my most up-to-date video gaming system is my Xbox 360, my old Xbox 360, which I have a bunch of games for. But I've never hooked it up online. I was never really interested in playing online. I just like VR games are really cool. My friend Sam has a VR set, and it's a really fun thing to do now and again. But as far as video games go, the whole point of video games for me was to just sit down, slob out, and just play video games for a bit. Sometimes all day. I do look forward sometimes if I've got a game that I've just started. I do look forward to just playing it for the entire day. Like Fallout and Skyrim and stuff. It's pretty cool to do that. But for the most part, I prefer to just sit down for a couple of hours, and then I've got hair fucking. So I play video games, but I'm a bit out of the loop now. I was thinking about getting a cheap Xbox One if I could find it, but even then, it's like I'd want it just for Fallout 4, just to play that, whether you like it or not. I like Fallout 3, New Vegas. Fallout 4, I'd like to be able to really get into. But yeah, I've said before, like games like Skate, where you can literally pick it up for a few minutes and have a skate and then put it down, or you can spend hours and hours on it. Stuff like that. Like I say, Skyrim, Fallout, Skate. I'm just thinking what games I've got. The Portal games, Portal 2. I was going to say, I've got these party poppers. I can't find one of those like party whistles, the ones that go with the thing that rolls in and out. I couldn't find any anywhere. I really wanted one. Be like, oh, 100 episodes. Like in Portal 2 when GLaDOS is saying, oh, we've got your parents here, or there's a big surprise waiting for you, or something. That's it. Oh, there's something waiting for you. It's your birthday or whatever. And then you go into the room, the lights come on, and it goes, and it's like pitiful confetti comes out the tube, and it's like, oh, only kidding. That whistle noise is I wanted that. Do you guys know what futanari is? A lovely person asked this question. Well, I didn't even ask the question because I said give me questions or talking points. So someone just put futanari hentai. And I happen to quite like it. I loved hentai when I was like teen, 17, 18. Well, I mean 18 and over, obviously. I liked some hentai. For me, porn is almost always been about like shape and stuff. So most porn in general is like, meh. It depends on shapes and angles, and like there's seconds of entire videos that I will actually like and edit down and stuff because I'm awful. And so with hentai, it was that, but like a lot more strict. Like there's so much hentai out there, but then there was only very, very small amounts of it I could actually get into. And then one day I found futanari, and if you're unaware, good for you. You should be unaware. It's not something you should get into. It's not just this, but more so nowadays. It's more commonly known that it's women with penises. It's supposed to be like hermaphrodite, so they have both sexual organs, and sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But it's generally very curvy, very big-titted women with very, very big penises, sometimes very big penises. And I like that in general. There's something about it. I used to draw these weird... I might have to recreate one sometime. I used to draw these like alien cow women. They had like dark turquoise skin and like cow heads with alien antennas, big floppy tits with 4 nipples like udders, and they're all like big and round and curvy and heavy looking, and almost always wearing nylon tights as well, because I like those. Oh, I'm probably revealing a lot too much, far too much, a lot more than I should. And they'd have big penises and big balls as well. And so they'd have their big, they'd have their tights on, and then their big penis like squashed into. I used to draw Simpsons porn, you all know that, and this sort of went along with that, I guess. I don't know. And I say I used to. This is like when I was fucking too young, younger than I should have been. In my late teen years, I guess. But yeah, there's something about futanari stuff that like, or futa for short, that I don't know. I like it. 3D though, mostly 3D. The more realistic looking, the better. And the scenarios aren't always important, but I prefer them if like it's a good or funny scenario. There's a couple where it's like, there's one where some woman goes to the doctor. She's like a hot woman with big tits, and then she goes to the doctor about something, who is also a hot woman with big tits. And then she's like, "What's the problem?" And then the woman pulls out her huge dick, and she's like, "Oh, this thing," and then her and the doctor fuck a bunch. I like it. Fuck you. Don't judge me, pieces of shit. I like it. What can I say? It's artistic, and you know, it's 3D rendered animations. Like a lot of time went into that, so that's really what I'm appreciating, is the amount of time and effort that's gone into making this filthy, degenerate porn. Ooh, I really will. Do you know what I'll do? Cow alien woman footers. I've noted that down because I'll try and recreate one of those drawings. I might even make it like a really nice painting. Maybe I'll sell it. Maybe I'll make it an NFT. Ooh. Excuse me. Oh, how rude. Where are we at time-wise? Okay, I think... What have we got? Krabby Patty is the best burger of all time. In theory, potentially... Ooh, I'm having digestive issues. If you're in Bikini Bottom, if you're part of that world, I'm sure a Krabby Patty is... And this is relevant, obviously, because it's Burger Party! Woo! The Krabby Patty is probably fucking delicious if you're in that world. But for us... Like, if you were to make your own Krabby Patty, like if you make your own Big Mac, it's cool, but it's not a Big Mac. It's just a burger you've made. Because a Big Mac is only really a Big Mac if you get it from McDonald's. So a Krabby Patty is only really a Krabby Patty if it comes from the Krusty Krab. But if it does that, it's going to be soaked in salt water, isn't it? Really. That's my only issue. Is like, it looks like it would be delicious. And if you were in that world, it probably would be fucking one of the best things you could have. But, oh well, I mean, let's be realistic. It looks like a burger. It looks like a nice burger. But realistically, if a talking crab man came out of the ocean and said, here, try this, and you bit into the burger, it'd be soggy, just sopping wet, and salt water, like... So potentially yes, but sadly, realistically, no. Saying realistically, I was just talking about alien cow women with big dicks and udder tits. So I guess realism isn't necessarily something I should put forth, exhort. I shouldn't be exhorting realism when I want to fuck a cow. Do you wipe to the front or back? This was a very interesting discussion during my university years, because I've always, when I wipe, this is, you know, I'm going to poo later on. I've got a burger in me. It's got to come out somehow. I've always basically lifted my balls and wiped back to front. Yeah, back to front. And then just... Because... Which I've always done that. Just that was my natural sort of recourse. My natural course of action was just, this feels like how it should go. And then I heard at university... I only heard when I was like in my 20s that people wipe the other way from behind, but then they have to like almost stand up a bit and then wipe. That just feels so awkward. Whereas mine, you stay sat down and you just lift, wipe and drop the tissue literally just after you wipe. You know, you check it to make sure, you know, how much you need to wipe more. And you drop the tissue right there and then you keep going. And I keep wet wipes so I can like clean it a little bit just in case, because I'm a hairy. But then quite a lot of people heard me say that and they were like, and this one guy, he goes, well, don't you get shit all over your balls? And I was like, no, like if you do this, do you get shit all up your back? No, because you don't fucking just wipe up your back. And I don't just wipe up my balls. I wipe around the area that's necessary to... So, you know, let me know, is that, which way do you wipe? Because for me, it's so much easier. If you are one of these people, I urge you to try, just lift what you've got and then wipe in between your legs, because you just stay sat down. It's so much easier to... I don't know why you... So that was a question. Someone asked why my ass is so thick. I walk a lot and, you know, I treat it nicely. I eat a lot of sugar. That probably helps. Yeah, you know. It's actually not... It's not that big. It's not tiny. It's small, but it's like... It's got some juice to it. Hit me up if you want to see pics. I've got some good pictures. that's another reason I want to change the way my body is going, change the direction in which my body is moving. Because I used to take a lot of nude, not a lot, but like some nudes, because I take really good ones, and I don't feel I'm in a position to make the nude photos that I want with the way my body's going. Not to say you can't be sexy if you're bigger, but for the, like, if I'm doing a drawing, I want it to look a certain way. If I'm taking a photo of myself, I want it to look a certain way. I've got some really fucking good nudes. But I can't do that. I've tried, and it's just, I can't make them look how I want. And I've got some good butt pics, so if you want some, let me know. All right, last one. This will take us nicely to the end, I guess. Next comic book project. And then someone else said goals as an artist. So I guess goals as an artist in general is just make more stuff. Like, that's it. Make more books. My ultimate goal is to be in touch with a publishing company in a sort of what I imagine Ashley Wood kind of is, where he makes art, and then when he's got enough to fill a book, I guess he contacts the publisher to say, I'm putting out this book, and they're like, cool, we'll publish your book. Brilliant. That's my ultimate goal, is to just have the time and money to allow me to make stuff that I can put in a book, and then put it in a book and sell it. And hopefully the book sells enough that I can make enough money to make the next book. That's my goal. Like, when I think about exhibitions and stuff, exhibitions are cool, but I'd rather have an exhibition like of books. So just maybe just 2 or 3 different books, a bunch of copies around a room, like screwed into a platform that or a pedestal or whatever that people can flip through. I'd rather have that than just single pieces. Maybe have single pieces to decorate the wall, some of the original art in the book. But books are far more interesting ways for me personally to look at art, especially because most, like, if it's a really good piece of art you want to see, especially older art, you can very rarely get close enough to it to really appreciate it. So for me, books have always been there. You do lose something because you're looking at a reproduced like print of the picture. So you do lose something in that translation. But having books full of art is something I've always wanted, and making those kinds of books is something I've always wanted to do. With that, my next comic book project, so I've got Gun Viking on its way very, very soon. It's at the printers. I'm just waiting to hear back. I got that Zach Ridley one. It's going to be released digitally almost definitely, and we're hoping to get at least a small print run of them done, which, if nothing else, would be like publicity for the rest of the Zach Ridley book, if I can do that in the next 8 years maybe. So that would be cool. So I'll have Gun Viking printed and done, hopefully. Even if we can't get that officially printed, what I might do, not to sell, because I don't know if legally I can, because I'm in a contract for that book, but I might print a few without the words and stuff, like the PDF I put on my Patreon, just the artwork, get them printed up as like just the printed piece for myself, for my portfolio, to show off, make a video of it or whatever. That Gun Viking. So that's this year. I would also like to get done. I'd like to get done the How Not to Draw Comics the Marvel Way book. I'm currently in between that and other things working on the first chapter of that as like a preview piece, and then hopefully do a Kickstarter or a GoFundMe to fund the printing and time it'll take to make it, and make the rest of that book sometime this year, hopefully, as well as an actual comic book, my Zilla comic that I showed off with the rat with the mouse with the ear on its back, the giant thing. I want to remake that. I've got the first page roughed out. I'm going to do it all in ballpoint, so it's like fairly easy to do, with a couple of painted bits here and there. Get a nice cover done, 20 pages I think. Get that printed up and sold. I think that would be a pretty fun one. And then, so that's my ultimate aim, I think, for the end of the year. I'd love to have Gun Viking done, printed, ready to go, which is on its way. Zach Ridley, hopefully printed, just the one 22-page issue. Zilla, black and white comic, so it's cheaper to produce with a colour cover, printed, and How Not to Draw Comics. I'm up and down about. I won't be able to use the word Marvel because I doubt enough people would see it that anyone would care. But just in case, I probably can't use the word Marvel. So I'll put like asterisks in it and stuff. So it'll be Marvel or something. Have that done and printed. So 4 print things that I've put out by the end of the year. That's my plan, my goal. The Zilla will be pretty fun. Like I said, I'm going to try and rework some bits of that, make it look good, or try to, and maybe make the story make a little bit more sense. But I think that would be cool. So that's my plan ultimately, is to have a nice little spread. Because even last year, I wanted to get more done than I did. I only managed to put out, I got issue 3 of Gun Viking done. But I would have liked to have had more. So if I can get, 2 things done this year, Gun Viking and Zach Ridley would be really cool. If I can get another thing done, it's not out of the question. 20 pages of black and white drawings for the Zilla comic. And then if I can get, I figure if I can get that done in the next few months, that would be quite cool. And this may be jumping ahead of myself a lot because I know it takes longer than you plan to always to make shit. But then if by Christmas or New Year's, I can have the How Not to Draw Comics book done, that would be really, really cool. And that's all. I mean, for that, all I'm really doing is taking every sort of section of How to Draw Comics the Marvel way and adapting it to my own sort of methods and stuff. So it's not too hard, so I don't have to come up with too much. It's the thing that's going to take the most is just doing it the most time. Yeah. That's been 100 episodes. Woo! Oh, well, the confetti flew behind my desk. We had a burger. You had a burger, I hope. Or maybe you didn't. Even if you didn't, I don't care. I do care. I care a little bit. But 100 of these fucking things, man. 2,500 subscribers. That's not a bad thing at all. Getting shit done, working on things, comics, books. The podcast, I'm gonna change it again for next week. See how we go with that. God, I feel like I've droned a lot, but I guess it's been one of those kinds of podcasts as opposed to this is how you crosshatch podcasts. There were more questions, but I fucking go on and on about enough shit. I don't need to spend more time doing that. And then closing, I should try to say something funny to close the podcast, but I don't know. And me drawing attention to it doesn't help any. Like, it makes it harder to close a podcast if I say, what do I do to close this video? And then saying, drawing attention to it isn't going to help any. So what do you do? What do you do to close when you've now made it awkward and you can't close the fucking episode?